About 3 or 4 months ago, I made a video about perspective and how changing your view on things, be it positive or negative, right, can change things in your life. And when I first came across the concept, it was kind of difficult for me to like accept it or rather start practicing it because it's not that easy, right? Like not everyone can like just change their mind at the snap of a finger. So it took me a while to practice it, to see the positive in something, or just to see everything more positively in general. Because sometimes what happens is we tend to be very negative with everything that happens around us, and like we've talked about before, pessimism is just inbuilt in us, and it's like actually more. It's kind of weird to be optimistic about things because it's just like the safer bet, right? Like don't go fast. What if you crash? Type of thing. Like we just assume something bad is gonna happen to be on the safer side. So when I did finally accept this whole concept of changing your perspective, being able to change things in your life, it was pretty cool, right? So I'd made this video on how I was very upset with the way things were going in my life, especially with regards to how much I was making or where I was living and all of that, right? I was living with my parents for a long time after college, and by long time I mean about like 6 months, so half a year. But the thing was, when I spoke to a friend and when I was complaining to him about it, saying, I'm living with my parents and I fucking hate it. Like, this is not the dream, this is not the goal, and I'm supposed to be making like millions of dollars. What's happening? Things are not going according to the plan, right? And he's like, dude, you don't have to live with your parents. You get to. Most people don't have parents. Most people don't have a place to live, right? But you have both. So why not be happy about that instead of complaining, right? Everything's done for you. Like you get food, you've got like a vehicle to go around. You're basically taken care of. So you can actually take this time to plan ahead, to think about what you really want to do. And that is a fantastic piece of advice because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was studying for this very important exam, which I happened to fail by 55 points. So I needed 1,600 to pass. And the day I found out I got 1545, I wanted to shoot myself in the face. And the crazy part is, I didn't even want to do anything in that field, right? In that industry. So I was still very heartbroken because I put a lot of efforts into that test. But you know what they say: whatever happens, happens for the best, right? Everything happens for a reason. And I couldn't see it at the time, but the reason I didn't maybe pass that was better things were supposed to come along. And I believe it did because when I changed my perspective on how things were going in my life, and when I stopped being upset about it or crying about it, things automatically started to fall in place, right? So when I stopped crying about it, I was like, okay, I have this time, let me like make the most of it. So what can I do? What do I want to do next? Where do I want to go? So I made this plan how I wanted to move to a different city, a bigger city, somewhere where I'd have more opportunities and somewhere where I'd be earning, maybe not a lot, maybe not how much I like to, but it's a start, right? And believe it or not, eventually, like 3 or 4 months later, here I am. I got my own apartment. I got a job which is really fun. And I know everything I've talked about is goes against having a job, but I promised myself a long time ago when I was in school, I promised myself, and this was the first time I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I told myself, if I ever get a job, for whatever reason, it's only going to be to learn, not to earn. So me working this job is because I believe there's a lot more I can learn about this world, about the industry, about how the world works and everything, right? And that's the reason I'm not working on a business right now. That's the reason I shut down Trade with Trend, a clothing brand, and this whole finance thing I wanted to start. I stopped all of it because I realized that yeah, I can keep going with this. I can keep being stupid and making mistakes and learn that way, or I can move out, gain some perspective, learn something, learn from people that know better than me, and here I am. I actually managed to get a job in this whole phase or market where people are saying there's no job. But when I decided I wanted a job, I applied and I got something within a week, and it was actually like something really good. Okay, maybe it's not how much I'd like to be earning, but it's definitely a checkpoint. It's definitely a milestone I've reached, and now I have time to sit down and think about what I want to do next. So while I work this job, while I learn, while I try to grow as a person, I can think about, okay, how do I work on this business, or what can I do to make this business better, or what is it that I was lacking as a businessman or as an entrepreneur, which can actually help me succeed, right? And I've spoken about this multiple times before. Failure is irrelevant, right? Failing, failing in anything is the best thing that could happen. And as you might have guessed it, if you were probably wondering, whoever the viewer is, the job I got is in sales, and sales is something I absolutely fucking love. I can sell, I can sell land to a fish. I can sell dosa to a European. It doesn't matter what you sell, right? Because it's not about the product. So I love selling, and that's what I'm here to do. And surprisingly enough, I got this role in a design studio, right? And design is something I know nothing about. The creative part of my brain basically does not work. And I told them in my interview that the reason I want to work this job is because I don't have any experience in design. And the first question they asked was, "Do you have any relevant experience in design?" And I told them, "No, I don't." But that is exactly why I want to work this job, because I've worked in multiple industries before. I've gained an understanding of it, and I've done well in that. So if you give me some time to understand how this works, maybe I'll do well for you as well, right? And it's been 3 weeks. This being the third week that I've joined, and I'm fucking loving it. Like, it's pretty cool working a job, being in sales, trying to just say shit and make it happen. But yeah, rejection is a part of it. I've been rejected left and right. It's almost like talking to your crush. You just try to make a move, see if she's interested, but before you know it, she's talking to some other guy who's more attractive than you, or who's better than you, or who just offers much more than you have to offer. And sometimes it's fine, right? You cannot, you don't win everything, and not every phone call that I make turns into a sale and turns into something profitable, right? But it's part of the game. You got to take one step back to move two steps forward, and that's what I love about it, right? It teaches me rejection. It teaches me so much about myself. Like, people think that I'm just born confident, right? That I can speak to whoever, make friends right away, talk to people, talk to a stranger, compliment anyone, but I really can't. I was still very socially anxious, conscious. I don't know. I was just not very confident at all. Like, if my mom introduced me to some of her friends, I just smile like, hey. But it's pretty stupid otherwise. So all I'm saying is it's trial and error. But bottom line, what I wanted to happen in my life is like happening bit by bit, brick by brick, slowly but steadily. So I'm not trying to rush it. I'm trying to like understand the game and learn as much as I can. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're not growing, what's the point of living? So I hope all of you guys who are not happy with where you are in life change your mind, and eventually you'll change all of it.